Hello, good evening, my friends. Maybe you're listening to this in the morning, maybe you're listening to this in the afternoon, but for me it's evening, so I am saying good evening. Hope everybody's doing well. We are on day 18 of our boot camp, and we are in the middle of Dr. Gutman's monumental 7 principles of relationships, which he says that all masters of marriage learn to figure out in some form of another. And his, I don't know, I forget what number it is already, but it is turn into each other. Let's understand this, what that means, turn into each other. Don't turn away from each other, turn into each other. All right, I've been doing this for a few years, meaning when this following thing, when people talk about gifts that they get from their kids or their wives for Father's Day, for their birthday, for Hanukkah, for their anniversary, and every man complains about the gifts that he gets. Usually, my kids, they bought me a tie. All right, great. I'm not gonna do with a tie. My wife, she bought me a watch. Nice, I like the watch. It's a beautiful watch, but all right. And I ask every single person. Really, really think about this answer. What is the one thing, if your wife and kids come to you and say, we'll give you whatever you want, what is really the one thing that you want? And to a man, every person kind of says the same thing. And that is 3 words. Leave me alone. Just give me one day. Give me one day where you just leave me alone. And every one of us get into that mode. We'll call it, I hate to say this, the Al Bundy syndrome, where we just come home, we want to sit on the couch, and we want to just chill. Leave me alone. That was one of our second day lessons that we had, that this is work. This is real work. And when you come home, you got to tell yourself, I know I had a hard day, but now my work really begins. But this is almost deeper. When our wives talk, we come home, and our wives tell us, you don't know what the baby did. I got into a fight with my sister. I was online. The teacher called from school today. You don't understand what happened to me. Oh, next door neighbors got this beautiful new couch. And they're talking. And we're barely interested. And we kind of, as, yeah, wow, good. Oh, nice, good. Okay, great. Yeah, nice, good. Yeah. If she would give you a test on everything she said afterwards, you'd be doomed. You'd be dead. You'd fail. Who got a couch? And you'd be like, what couch? Couch? Uh, your sister. No, no. I had a fight with my sister. The neighbor got the couch. We would be gassed. But the truth is, when our wives do things like that, this is called a bid for connection. They're trying to connect. And there's a lot of different ways that women, or all people for that matter, make a bid for connection. Let's just say in shul, you're sitting in shul, and all of a sudden a guy, he's looking around the room where to sit, and all of a sudden he picks a seat next to you. What was the person doing picking that seat next to you? Usually it's a bid for connection. Usually he wants to connect to you. He likes you and he wants to say something. Shabbat Shalom, he wants to tell you about his day, whatever it is. But that's usually, but all around us, people are trying at times, and we do the same thing to people. We try to connect with people also at times. We say hello to somebody, we say good morning, we sit next to the guy, we try to connect to our wives a lot of different times and different things, by complaining to them about our day, by asking them if they want to go out. There are times like that. The worst thing in the world is rejection from a bid for connection. When you try to connect with your wife and your wife totally blows you off, doesn't even know, you say, honey, you want to go out tonight? She's like, I don't know, I can't think about this now. I'm in the middle of this and I'm in the middle of that, and I can't think about it. You feel deflated. You feel unworthy. You feel like, what? I just made a bid for connection and I got nothing back. I got stonewalled. Well, it's the same thing the opposite way around. When our wives talk to us, when they, tell us things, when they'll ask us, do you want to go out tonight? Or when a wife will say something very, you know, interesting, like, so what's your plans tonight? That's a bid for connection. She's dying for you to say, whatever you want to do, let's do something. So we have to, this idea of today's lesson is turn into each other, means that when you get the bid for connection, connect. Look for ways to be together rather than ways for being, those 3 words, just leave me alone. Being away from each other. When your wife is talking, be attentive, listen, think about what she's saying. I promise you, at the end of the day, if you're an attentive husband, you wouldn't believe how much points you're going to score. I have a friend of mine, and he is like, you would think on a scale of 1 to 10, like probably the worst husband could be. He comes and goes as he pleases. He never helps around the house, never does a thing. He asks his wife to do everything. She waits on him hand and foot. Things that you and I will never get away with, this guy gets away with. And I once turned to like a third friend in front of us. I said, how does he get away with this? Like, how does it happen? His wife is not, she's a very smart lady. She's not a dibbe. And he's like, you know why? Because when his wife talks, he always listens. I said, what, could it be that simple? And the more I think about it, the more he's right. When his wife talks to him, he's attentive. He's like interested in what she has to say all the time. So she's never threatened, so to speak. She never feels that he doesn't like me or I'm unworthy, or because anytime she wants to connect, he's there for the connection. He's always there. He's always turning into her. So that is the lesson of today. It's a very powerful, important thing in relationships. When your wife is talking, when there's a bid for connection, if she says, why don't you leave that alone and come sit on the couch with me? Or she says, oh, your favorite show's on tonight. When she says something like that, that shows you and that she wants to do something with you, she wants to do something together, make sure you turn into that and you make sure that you connect to her on that level. Make sure that you go along with it rather than the opposite way around. Wives could be subtle also with not only talk, but with mode of dress. All of a sudden you come home and your wife is dressed up. Maybe she has makeup on and she usually doesn't. You have to be aware of things like that. All of a sudden a wife will, she does her hair and she'll come home with her hair all done and she'll just look at you, hi, and she's waiting for you to say, oh, I love your hair. But we never take it. We don't even realize it. We don't even recognize that our hair is different. The idea being that all these things, these little subliminal things that wives do so many times, are ways that they want to connect to us. The more we give into those connections, the more the relationship in her mind is solidified. My husband loves me, so therefore he could do what he wants. You understand? It's when we don't do that that the wife is constantly feeling maybe, and as threatened is the wrong word, but she's constantly questioning what you believe about her and what you think about her and what you hold of her, that she now has to go to other means to get you. No, I don't. Why aren't you going with your friends today? We never spend time together. Where does that come from? That comes from the fact that she doesn't feel so connected to you, because anytime she makes a bid, you kind of blow it off. So that is the lesson of today, which is turn into each other, which basically we're understanding as being the idea of being attentive to your wife, open to your wife, listening to your wife, and being there for her, being in the moment, being there for her emotionally, physically, and mentally. The task of the day for day 18. The task of the day for day 18. So we spoke about it being bids for connection. I even titled it Connect, even though Dr. Gutman titles it, I think he titles it Turn Into Each Other from what I remember about it. I read it a while ago. But I think that the task should be an easy, simple one. But I just want to say this. There are 2 levels to this. I started something that I do, and it really has helped me out as a person. When I come home, I shut my phone off for 2 or 3 hours, whatever it is. And my wife knows that during that time, I'm totally in tune, mentally, physically, and emotionally into the home. I'm there. She doesn't question where I am. Meaning to say, what I mean, question where I am. I question where I am mentally. Oh, you're getting a text? It's the worst thing you could do. Somebody's talking to you, and you all of a sudden answer a text. It's like, hello. It's like, that's just not nice. And sometimes we do that to our spouse all the time. We'll answer the phone when she's talking. We'll just pick up the phone. So really, I should make the task that you're going to shut your phone off when you come home for at least a couple of hours. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to make the task today that start to notice when your wife makes a bid for connection, when your wife is looking to connect. Maybe she said something to you like, oh, you had to see what the baby said? The baby was so cute today. I got into a fight with my sister. Oh, my mother called earlier. Oh, your mother came by. Oh, the teacher from school called. All those things are ways of connection, telling what happened during the day, thinking of plans for later. Start to notice when your wife is trying to connect. So just today, whatever day, whenever you're listening to this, just tell yourself, okay, for the next few hours, I'm going to count how many times my wife makes a bid for connection. You'll be surprised that there are a lot of times that you were missing that, oh, my wife just tried to connect with me. I have to reciprocate. Have a great